Welcome to the Money Mentors Podcast.
Hi, I'm Gary Mattson, Mattson Financial Services. With me is Laurel Stewart and Jennifer Perry. And I've got to admit, this last week was a rough week in my family. We talk a lot about my mom on the show, and now she has entered the world of dementia. She fell, as we shared with you in the past, and she had a concussion. And now her number one caregiver, which is my stepfather, sometimes she doesn't know who he is. And the reason I bring this up and share with you is because sometime as children, we're all going to face taking care of our parents, one or the other of them. The story goes as far as statistics is that two people age 65 living together, one person of those two, 100% of the time is going to use some type of long-term care. Now, it always comes down to is that, well, you've got money, you've got choices, everything's going to work out because you got money. It's not always about money. Sometimes it's in this situation where that she now at times does not recognize my stepfather. Her number one caregiver loves her immensely. And now if she turns fearful to him, what do we do? What's the answer? The solution's not going to be good for everybody. And, of course, I look at it from my mom's point of view that I don't want her to be fearful and I want her to feel safe. But also as the person who's taking care of her and loves her the most and has been with her all these years, day in and day out, hour by hour, is somebody that she doesn't trust. So how do we amend that? How do we put them in a better position? And so we're looking into services and different things, but we think we might have to go down the way of putting them into assisted living in a 2-bedroom apartment, in essence, so that they can have the separate area but have the common area, and so they can be together when it's right to be together, and when she needs to have that separation, she can have that. Yeah. But what a terrible thing that our mind has done to us, has turned on our body. So fortunately for myself, she remembers me, she remembers Laurel, she remembers my brother, but other times she remembers him. And he loves her so much. He's been such a good, caring man that I don't want to break his heart either.
Right. That's the hardest part, going through that. I feel like I'm choking up right now talking about it because it is very difficult. But we've also seen this, with some of our clients and their parents, because being that multi-generational firm, I'm very thankful to say that our clients have trusted us to communicate some of those difficult challenges that they face outside of their financial picture, right? And letting us in on these things. And so we have the education and the knowledge and know how to handle it, but that emotional side is very difficult.
And as we've talked before, we have in our community a person that's not our client that came to us, and we looked at everything, and we told them to go see an attorney, and very much in the same situation is that he's married to her. It's a blended family. They don't have children together, and she has diabetes and dementia, and now it's to the point where she needs to be under care 24/7 because she won't take her meds and those type of things. But if he went into the living quarters with her where she's at, he's not needed that. He's totally capable of taking care of himself. But because her family did the right thing by setting up the assets to be protected from spend down rules and all that he could be on the hook for paying for her care. So it came out that according to the family attorney, they've been with this attorney a long time, he needs to divorce her financially, but be with her emotionally.
Oh, wow.
And now, of course, the blended family, the kids are saying, you're abandoning mom now in a time of need. And he's saying, no, we have everything separated. This is just making it finalized, but I want to be there. I will help her. He's the only one that can talk her, quote, off the cliff, as we say, off the shelf, saying, calm down, let's get this done. Comfort her and make her, what I would call acceptable, two different things. And they won't let him see her anymore.
Oh, my
because
goodness.
of the divorce taking place to protect assets. So the answers are there, but sometimes the fall of that can be heartbreaking.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad that you two are so open about this because you as a family, you're going through this right now. And again, things that we're going along so great. I mean, she's, in her late 90s now, and now you're dealing with this. But Gary, you always say when someone comes in for that first visit at Mattson Financial Services, it's not just about your investments. It's not just about your taxes. You also ask about the people above you and the people below you, who is going to maybe depend on you at some point in your life. And this is a perfect example of why.
Absolutely, is that we talk to our clients and we tell them, hey, we've taken care of the tax scenarios, we've got the risk management, the insurances, and the Social Security and the pensions, and we know what's going to happen there, and we have your estate plan done, and so we know it's going to go there, and your income's working, and it's going to last the rest of your life. Now, that's your world. Now we have to look at that and say that's only really a third of the planning process, because there's so much more that goes into it. And they kind of look at us and going like, nobody talks about these things with us. They won't talk about Social Security or taxes. You're doing that. What else could there be? Well, you're going to have a situation with your mom, dad, sister, or brother that you're going to have emotional, financial, or physical support for. I mean, my mom is financially is fine, but now she can't function without somebody that she knows, recognizes, and trusts, Laurel or myself, and stop by and say, it's okay, Mom, it's going to be okay. And that's not bad. We're not saying that's a terrible thing. We have to do that at all. But it is a change to my world and Laurel's world. And as Mom said this last week, she says, Laurel, you go home, take care of your kids. You go home, take care of your kids. That's all she kept saying is, go home, take care of your kids.
Grandma, come on, I want to be here, and that's so sweet of her. But
fortunately, that she didn't need to rush home and take care of the kids. Taylor was there and taking care of the kids and that support system. But again, we want to be there for her as well as be there for him. And so these are things that we need to plan for. We need to talk about that. We need to talk about when you're gone and your children receives this wealth, this money, what does it come with? Does it come with education and knowing what to do with it? Or is it, hey, they'll figure that out? That's the worst case scenario, is letting my parents all of a sudden try and figure this out now when it's the worst situation because my mom does not trust my stepdad, even though he did nothing wrong. Now we're going to start figuring this out? No, we had this conversation long ago and we had everything in place. So now I am making decisions for my mother.
And here's what I know about your family and really the families of all of our listeners too, because I think we're all in the same boat on this. None of us wants to be a burden to our loved ones in these kinds of scenarios too. And that's why we encourage a conversation about these things ahead of time.
Yeah, and I take this back to our philosophy of the Mattson Financial Enhanced Plan. It's not just a retirement plan. It's not just a financial plan. It's an enhanced plan. What that means is, yes, we're going to look at all these different areas, like Dad had mentioned, when it comes to your retirement, your income, taxation, the health and wealth, all of that together. But the ownership piece, the beneficiary piece, what do you want to happen with your assets? All of those things really need to be talked about and flushed through and have a plan because of these scenarios that then occur. What should happen? Who should be beneficiary? What happens if mom goes into this care? And we've had several clients come in this year that they have saved a good amount of money in their 401ks and they don't have children. And their extended family of nieces and nephews aren't right here in Michigan. They're, outside in a different state. And so to them, they're a little bit removed to say, well, I'm not sure if this would go to them. I maybe want to give to a charity. They need some help through that thought process to make sure that their hard-earned money is going to an avenue and a channel that they want it to, but also tax-friendly along the way.
Want weekly lessons from your money mentors? Yes. Hit the subscribe button now and listen every weekend on Wood Radio.
The opinions expressed in this program are for general informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual or on any specific security. To determine which investments may be appropriate for you, consult your financial advisor prior to investing. Any past performance discussed during this program is no guarantee of future results. Fee-based financial planning and investment services are offered by Mattson Financial Services, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Insurance products and services offered through Lakeview Financial Group, LLC, Mattson Financial Services, LLC, and Lakeview Financial Group are affiliated. To find out if Mattson Financial Services is licensed in your state, please call 800-536-8907.